is on the video, but we're out. So.
Good?
Yep.
Okay, we will call to order the Columbia City Park Board, June 23rd, 2025. We will start with attendance.
Karen Cody.
Mark Ellis.
Roger Farrell.
Okay, Nichols on that. Did everybody have a chance to review the minutes from April? If there are no corrections to be made, need a motion to approve.
I move we approve.
And seconded.
I'll second.
I have a question. I think something needs changed here on the introductions portion and letter B. It says Karen motioned, Roger seconded. It doesn't say whether it was approved. Well, I guess it does say approved up above it. Then down below that, what's it here?
New business.
Letter C for new business that Karen had mentioned, and to accept volunteer harassment policy. Kim seconded it, but whether it doesn't say whether it's yea or nay on it. Does that need to have that on there?
Well, to accept the policy was,
Yeah.
I mean, we voted to accept it, so that would be a yay, wouldn't it?
And then
Well,
Kim seconded.
And Kim, yeah.
But does it say
It doesn't say approved, it's just
correct?
that
I don't know,
somebody
I was just,
made the
for
first,
clarification.
made the first motion, then you have a second motion, and then you have
say
approved.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Does it need to be on there? that was the only thing.
We
I saw.
assume that it accepts.
Right, yeah.
Of course, get in trouble, assume.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
right, exactly. That's the only thing.
So then section 2A4 would need that added to, need approved added to it. And section CI
Yes.
would need that approved added to that.
And I think that might be it.
I just want to make sure we're,
Yes.
we don't get
Oh,
caught
yeah,
on
sure.
something.
Looks like it.
Sure.
Okay, with adding approved to those two sections, there are no other changes to the meeting notes or the meeting.
I do not have anything else to add to that.
Okay. So then it should be voted on, once those corrections are made, that should be voted on next meeting to approve.
Okay. Well, either that or you guys can go ahead and approve them with those changes being made. We've done that before in council.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's
Would be
approvable.
A motion to approve the word approve to those two line items. Okay.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Aye.
Okay.
That was
Okay.
complicated.
Just want to make sure it's right.
Yeah.
We're probably gonna skip over C. I just kinda had that in there as a filler. New business. First and foremost up there, we were talking about the skate park, and now everybody's talking about dog park. We've had JPR come in and give us a nice rendering of what we're looking at. If you notice the concrete area right to the left of the grass,
Mhm.
that's the old skate park.
Okay.
So that would become parking lot. We would remove the basketball goals and then the pavement here. So you'd have the basketball goal concreted area as where the dogs would go in and out.
Mm-hmm.
And the pavement would be where the cars park. And they're only gonna be able to park on one side. And then they'll have 4 spots over, 4 or 5 spots, I don't know, over on the other parking lot that will be okay for them, just for them to park, what, 1, 2 handicap, 3, 4, 3 non-handicap, and then we'll have some over here in that old skate park area that will be designated for the dog park. As you can see, there's a small dog park side, and that'll be by pounds. Which my dog probably would be in the large dog because of pounds, but it's because it needs exercise. And then we have a large dog side. we're incorporating, if you ever go over that direction, there's a natural swale that comes right through here.
Mhm.
And we're taking the fencing right along, it's right at the bottom of the hill, and it's gonna be along that swale and then there. So we're gonna be adding natural, there's natural trees and, grasses and things like that. We'll clear out, some of the small brush, and then it'll just be able to be see-through, it'll allow the dogs some shade. And with that, then we'll add some benches. You can kind of see some, I think there's 2 benches, one in the woods and one outside the woods. Same way with small dog. Then what we're able to do is JPR came up with an idea of the old ramps. There's some of them that we can actually,
Oh, those skate park ramps, the
we
metal
can,
ones?
yes, we can actually cut and reconfigure the way they are, and then we can bury them in the ground, because dogs like to hide in tunnels. They like to, be up on a platform, and, so some of that stuff we'd have to make sure we put indoor, outdoor carpeting on, so it wouldn't burn their paws. But, so that's where the concept has went. We've brought it down to this one. And I did not put down the breakdown for each one.
Looks pretty good size, cause it's a half acre for the small dogs and
Mhm.
almost a full acre for the big dogs.
And that's what's recommended. Actually, for the big dogs, it's recommended to be an acre.
Where's the building?
The office building?
Yeah.
It's right up here in the,
That's the
Oh, that's
parking
it.
lot.
yeah.
Oh, I
Vehicles
see,
right there.
I see.
That's
Yeah.
right here.
Oh, so it goes right up to there. Okay.
Yeah.
The hill goes down, from that
Yeah.
little park here,
Oh.
it goes down, that's why
Yes.
they can't.
And it was just a little something
Yeah.
that they were talking about. They put this double gate here over there, and I said, well, we have all of our equipment coming down this hill. It'd be nice just to have the double gate here
So you can get in mow.
and then the double gate over on the other side. It's just for easier access to get in and be able to take care of it.
And I'm going to assume this line right here that goes from here to there is a fence breaking up these small dog to large dog areas.
Actually, yes, you're correct.
Okay.
So the way the breakdown is you can kind of see, if you kind of go from the slotted lines here and go to the very bottom, there's the wash station. So that's what we have to run water and storm sewer line.
That's what the dash lines are for.
Yes, those are utilities that we're gonna run over. Then after that, then you get into where, you can see it comes across like this. This is the dog wash station, right there. And then you have the line down the center. So what this has then is this has it to where, you can enter here or enter here. This is a small dog and this is a large dog. So you can enter, pull the gate, and then your dog's in here. So now you can put the leash on him before you go, or you
Yeah.
can take the leash off of him
Mhm.
before you go, and then there's another gate that you let him in and play.
And
Then,
you s-
go ahead.
I'm sorry,
No,
you
go
said a
ahead.
wash area, so they'll be able to
Right.
hose the dogs down?
Yes,
Yeah,
because
because
of being back in the woods and stuff like
Mhm.
that, they'll be
That's a
muddy.
great idea.
They'll
So-
be muddy back there. This swale sometimes hold water.
Cooling off station also?
Yeah, yeah, like a day like today.
Mhm.
Some of them have a lot of fur. And then you can see the brown spots there, the tan spots, I guess. Those are like actual human shade structures and little bitty seating area.
Like the little rectangles?
Yes, it's over closer to the fence here in the
Oh,
white.
there, okay, in the white, yeah.
So these are their own,
Like open air pavilion type thing?
no, we didn't wanna go that big. I don't
Well,
think
small.
it should be like a place where the family comes in and.
Oh, no, has a
Right.
picnic? No.
Well, that's what some of the concepts were, and so,
Oh.
yeah. Because everybody's like, oh, that'd be great with the dog. Well, you got other dogs in there, it's just not your dog. So that's what's gonna be on that concrete. We can repurpose the concrete, we don't have to rip that out. We don't have to rip out any of the pavement. I didn't bring the breakdowns with me as far as the fence goes, but the one for the large dog is 8 foot tall. And goes around that whole section. I think that came in at like $57,000 or $60,000.
That's a big area fence. So the fence between, like Keith was mentioning,
Mm-hmm.
will there be space between, will there be two fences, right?
No.
So it'll be just one fence,
Yep.
so two dogs can come up and
Nose.
meet each other? Or
Mhm.
Yep. They
Well,
can-
that'll probably be an 8 foot tall fence then, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then the small dog will be a 5 foot spot, 5 foot tall fence.
And it's all by weight, right?
Well, we're gonna have weight signs up there, but I mean, if you know you have a large breed or you have a small breed, it's just like, you know, like my Australian Shepherd, you know, she's like a medium-sized dog.
Right.
But I'm probably gonna have her more in the small dog area, even though her weight says that she's in the big dog area. I mean, that's where it's gonna have to be, is there's,
So it's kind of a recommendation, just use your best judgment.
right. It's kinda like when you put kids' ages here to here, you know, so it's up to the people.
Yep.
The
They
guardians.
should, you know, I think the user would know also, because I'm sure the large area, there'll be larger obstacles and things for the dogs to climb on too, right?
Well,
As opposed
yeah,
to the area with the small dogs.
the thing with the large area, in both areas really, is it's just gonna have some nooks and crannies. You know, a lot of times when you get your dog out, you wanna get them out and run them. And so, you know, to be able to start at that basketball goal and whip a baseball or tennis ball or something all the way out here, you don't want a whole lot of obstructions.
Right.
And you can see where they don't plant any trees
Right.
over here, you know, they're leaving it open, so, but that's all what helps us over here. So we're hoping that we can, continue with this, and, we got some value added, engineering stuff that we're able to do, that the guys can do, lay in the water line, the storm sewer line. What's nice is the electric and the fiber that you see there, we don't have to run that, because it already comes to the skate park pole.
Mhm.
And so we already have a
Just
camera. We already have a camera there, and we have a camera on the building that faces. So we already have electric, we already have the camera, we already have the network. So that whole chunk is, we don't need that. It's just a little bit. The biggest chunk of money is going to be for the fence. And,
Mhm.
so I'm gonna start going out and seeing, if what they gave us was a good price, or if I can, you know, I don't know of very many fence places in town. I know there's one.
What company was this?
JPR, I don't know who,
Oh, okay.
they just do it, they just have a linear foot. They didn't talk to somebody straight away.
Well, kind of, the company I worked for 19 years during the summer, it's Aero Fence Company.
Okay,
They do good work.
okay. So see, that's what I'm gonna need from, you know, from people, is, hey, go check these guys out, go check those guys out.
It's all about fence here in Columbia City. I mean, there's a bunch of places.
RNC.
Arrow,
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
About
good.
Fence, which one's that? Is that the one that's at BJ, or
I
that's
don't know where he's,
backyard?
I don't know where exactly he
Okay.
did. He did my practice.
Did he? Okay.
It's super nice to see that, of course, skate park outgrew that area, but
Mhm.
we're able to reuse it for something else.
Has this, go ahead, sorry.
No, I was done.
Has this been flagged off at all during flags out there?
No. We haven't done any staking or anything like that yet. That's kind of next level.
Well, do you think there'll be a relocation from the trail, the bike trail that's in there?
No, I
It won't
told
go
him,
that far?
I told him that there's bike trails back up in there and we need to stay away from them. So,
There are, and we can talk about this later, but there are some stuff in there that you might be able to use.
okay, yeah.
Get out of there. Like big rock.
Yeah, well then we have to have equipment to move it.
Oh, well, anything that you have that has a
Okay.
bucket off the lid, they're not that big.
Okay, all right.
So what is the time frame then on this?
We don't really have a time frame yet. I'd like to start, I'd like to really have something nailed down so that we can start, either late fall or, well, pretty much late fall, getting in our side of things.
Right.
to where it maybe can open up next spring. That would be the hope.
So, this has this conceptual drawing has not been approved yet, right? Or has it, or is this kind of the? this
No,
is
we're just
where-
kind
Where we're at?
of, we're just kind of stepping through it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Once that's done, maybe that would be good to put on our website.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I know there's been a lot of people talking about that. Mark,
Actually,
a lot of
what,
excitement about it.
what else we're gonna be able to do is, I have a lock company that I've, been in contact with for doors, that, on the gates, we can actually put these locks on the gates, and, it's all through cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
Cause everybody has their cell phone. We pay so many memberships to that. So, say for instance, I have all my vaccination papers for my dog. I bring them in and I give them all my updated shots for a year. Well, your membership fee that you'll pay will help us cover the cost of the locks and that monthly service. And then, I would have a year from that point to where I could come in and do the large dog. Maybe I have it just for large dog. That means I can't go into small dog. I have to come
Right.
back in to get a small dog one. If I have a large and a small dog, or if I have a large dog and a small dog, then I'd have to have separate to be able to come in, that way. We do have to work out that situation. But the nice thing is then when your vaccinations run up, that's when your pass runs out,
Nice.
so you can't go in.
So if I have two dogs,
Mm-hmm.
could I don't have any dogs, but could I come register one and then no one would know and I'd be able to bring in all my dogs?
Yeah, people will always have a workaround.
Okay.
And that would be the other thing while you're looking through that. Say Mark has his dog. Is it multi-phone use?
Right, Mark comes in,
Mark's-
I'm with Mark and we all bring, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's
You don't have-
Mark's out of town and my wife is taking the dog to the dog park.
Do you have his phone physically?
No.
Then you won't be able to get in.
So then it's whoever has that phone.
Whoever has that phone. Yep. The other thing too is the waivers that you have to sign.
Mm-hmm.
You're held liable for any damage or anything that your dog does. So if you go up and somebody says, hey, I forgot my phone, can you just let me in? And you key in, and that dog has damage,
You're
you're
liable.
gonna be the one liable, not the dog. So, I mean, you're gonna wanna make sure that, that it's your dog that's in there
Mhm.
and nobody else's. So, yeah, I mean, it won't be a problem until it is.
Right.
I think the majority of people
Yeah.
follow the rules and
Yeah,
all that,
pet
but,
owners are
yeah.
pretty good on
Yeah.
that. They'll self-police on that too.
Mhm.
And we'll have, you know, and as long as we have that kind of stuff, then it will be easier to self-police. You know, the people will be able to, no, I'm not doing that, or, hey, I see this person passing this around,
Yeah.
you know, and we can do that, but.
It'll all be on video too.
Yes. So so we're kind of going into the concept here, making it, and then we'll have to get down to brass tacks and figure out where the,
How we're gonna pay for it.
yeah, paying for it and some of the intricate stuff like the locks and things like that. So just be aware that, you guys will be voting, on some things coming up for this. You guys got any questions on this that maybe, I know just kind of popped up here, but
I think it's exciting. We've been talking about a dog park for years,
Yeah.
but it's the furthest we've ever seen it so far.
yeah. Well, and this is a place that is just really neat. JPR was excited
Mm-hmm.
because we can allow the natural features. it's just not an open field and then you put obstacles in it, you know?
Right.
It's got a lot of natural stuff, you know, the scents and things like that that'll keep the dog and, you know, keep
Yeah,
the dog
to
entertained.
run around in there.
Yeah.
Like type dogs, right?
Right, right, and it's big enough that, like I said, you can stand back and throw a ball and, you know, you'd be able to run play fetch, no problem with it.
Let the coon dogs get on the set.
No, no. We got the coon hunters right there that back up to it, so no, we probably don't want that. The guys were able to get the monuments out this week up around the flagpole. Giant holes. I mean, they would, anything come through town with 100-mile winds,
Mm-hmm.
you need to attach yourself to those things because they were, the holes were like this big around and they were about 4 foot down.
Wow.
And, I mean, they were in there. Whoever did it they didn't want them coming out.
These are the monuments at the entrance of Morses.
Yeah, and all they were holding was brass plates. So, I mean, it was definitely, they were very, very nice and appropriate and, you know, well done, but it was just at this point, it was kind of like overkill to see the hole that came out of it. But that's back when concrete was cheap.
Yeah, where are they going?
What's that?
Where are they moving to?
The monuments themselves, they found that we put them in over at Green Hill in the shed because there were some discrepancies on some people's names that were on them. So we just have them there until we can get them checked out, and then once we get them checked out, they may find their place at Patriot alongside that over there.
Nice.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
So, but we gotta get that checked out. You guys are seeing the trail moving along from the high school?
Yeah, really,
Oh, it's
some asphalt.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Yep.
amazing.
There's quite a few people that were walking it before it was even paved, they were doing it with the dirt.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
So,
I've seen people walk on it, biking on it, a runner went by the house today.
yeah, yeah. So, it'll be interesting to see them get the pedestrian.
What are they gonna do there? Are they like,
It's
like what
making
they have
an
with the
island.
Y, or what?
Well, no, that's gonna be at Radio Road.
Okay, I guess that's what I was asking, yes, where
Yeah.
are they gonna have a radio road?
At Radio Road, they're gonna have flashing lights.
Okay.
And at the dairy barn,
Oh, yeah.
they're actually going to be putting in, they call it a pedestrian island. It'll be like that. And so that'll allow people to come up where you see it, and then I think it like 90 degrees is, you know, like that.
Mhm.
And then that'll allow them to get to here with traffic, and then that'll let them get over and
Okay.
go down that side right by your house, and on the south side of the dairy barn. So,
They started working on that section today.
did they? Okay.
Had a lot of work on your,
Yeah.
a lot.
You can get into the gas station from Spencer Street, from Main Street to about 30 feet west. That's it. There's no
Mm.
more getting into the gas station from there, at least for now, or the alley. But they'll have it done soon.
Yeah,
It'll
they'll
take
be,
a long
they'll,
week or two, and they'll be able to.
they'll be done pretty quick for sure. The baseball field agreement. One thing that we've come up, and I'm asking for your guys' guidance on this. We have, on turf right now, the only entity, that they give us the dates. You guys have seen that, you guys approve those dates. Well, what we're finding out now is that we approve those dates, and then they may not fill those dates. So then, you know, if we didn't ask this year, there would have been weekends where we would have thought we had on turf and we didn't, because they didn't have any games. So because of asking them, then we were able to let our teams practice and do their things on the weekends. That's not in the agreement any way, shape, or form.
Are you scheduling employees for those weekends?
Well, that's why we found out that they weren't going, is because we called ahead. Usually by Monday or Tuesday, we know what's happening that weekend, so that we can schedule employees and get them ready. So we found that out, and so,
So you wouldn't have known unless you made contact, or the
Yeah.
office made contact?
because they normally give us no later than Wednesday their brackets.
Mm-hmm.
So we know when we have field press and how long the concession stand needs to stay on, stay open, and things of that nature. And I thought by doing like $40 a field or whatever, that would kind of keep that, well, it's not, it didn't work. I mean, plain and simple, it just didn't work. So, I mean, is it something that we just kind of continue and let them, on Monday, Tuesday say, no, we're not gonna have it, and then, let them, because we don't have anybody scheduled yet.
Right.
It's a relief, but also, if we knew they weren't scheduling, then we could schedule something else. It's a catch 22. I don't know. I don't know if it's worth upsetting the apple cart.
How many weekends do you estimate that they didn't show?
Five,
That's a lot.
4 or
Was
5.
it because
Yeah.
of weather, or was it because of?
It's no, it wasn't because of weather. They play at other locations, and also I found out through them that they have US AAA is their sanction. Well, you could have a bunch of AA teams that's coming in for this, and then all of a sudden, these two teams get single A status. So now you only have 2 teams. You don't have 4. And so, so for them, it's just as hard
Yeah.
to predict as it is for us. That's why I'm saying, do we try to police something that may not be policeable?
It's unknown to them.
Yeah.
Surprises me they're sanctioned by U-Trip. Because we had reduced the number of weekends a while ago, right?
Yeah, I don't have them in front of me,
Yeah.
but there's
We-
several in May. There's a couple in April. There's several in May, and several by, I mean, like 2 or 3. And then in June, we didn't have but 1, and that was this weekend. And then we have one next weekend, and then we don't have anything in July. And they were asking for 1 or 2 dates in July. So total, this year, they probably have 5 that they didn't show up for.
And they let you, you ask by Tuesday.
Yeah, normally.
My thought is if they don't let you know by Tuesday or Wednesday,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't show up,
Mm-hmm.
they will be assessed fees for all the employees and whoever's there for the duration of the event, time that you would think they would need to be there,
Mm-hmm.
minus just maybe a certain percentage, because they may have an unknown, right, like you said. But I don't know, I don't know that business, that world of youth
I'd say
baseball either. And I
Right.
know it's very unpredictable, like you just said.
Yeah, and brackets
So,
and pool
and
play.
I get that,
Brackets and pool play,
but I
or,
mean, if they can't let you know,
I
that's a bit of a problem.
I agree. There's a day that they have to let us know.
Obviously, well, there's weather issues, right?
Right.
Then that doesn't count.
There has to be a day that they have to let us know, and that's why we've kind of forced their hand to tell us by Tuesday.
But if they don't,
Well,
and then they're not there, it's kind of on them.
and
in my view.
then we use it, there are people that you would have use it,
Because
and
we could be
if they are
using
not,
that.
someone using it on the weekend.
Well, we've had some practices, yeah,
Okay.
but it's too short of a time period for us to get anything else going on.
Practice.
Right. Other than
I
practices,
mean,
right?
they're-
Yeah.
But there have been able to be practices, so it still turns out okay.
Mhm.
Because pool play schedules usually, the last day you want to put those out is Wednesday.
Mhm.
And that's really, if your tournament's going or not, is Wednesday. So
Mhm.
Tuesday is a good deal, but I agree with you. If they say they're having it, and then, Friday or Saturday shows up, and
They haven't done that yet. They haven't done, hey, we're having it, and then nothing. They've been very upfront with us. I do wanna make sure that that's,
but that's also keeping your employees on the edge
It is.
until.
yeah, but is that just the price of doing business in the park week, in the park and rec? You get things changing every day.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
And even even we've got a planner
Because they've
that,
been pretty good, right?
yeah, we've got a person that loves to plan a week and two out, and I keep telling them, plan what you're doing tomorrow morning and only plan one thing, because it's gonna change.
I would almost think you just leave it alone for now.
It hadn't become a problem, it just, this is the first year that they've done that. Is to where, hey, we're coming in this weekend, and, back in, if they were coming in May and back in February, we knew they weren't gonna be there. Then we
Right.
could have filled that in.
Right.
And that's a hurt, that's a pain, but they didn't know that. And there was no way for them to know that because they just had a tournament last weekend that changed. And they were having it here,
Mm-hmm.
and they had the schedule out to us and everything else, and they always send it out and say, this is preliminary, and it's usually pretty good. And then he emailed me and said, okay, I've got two teams that U-Trip actually pulled, and they pulled them and put them in a different division. So imagine being on those teams and playing, because you think you're gonna be playing here, and then all of a sudden, you're not.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're playing
We
here.
gotta go to whatever.
Yeah,
That's
I mean, you
right.
could go
Supposed
from
to
Plum
play.
City to Manchester, you don't know,
Exactly.
or anything of that nature, so. But, okay, well, I wanted to talk that through with you guys and see,
Do you guys agree, just kind of let it?
Well, yeah,
I
for the
think-
season at least, right?
Basically,
I
we have
think-
enough
Revisit
problems.
that for.
Seriously.
I
we
think
don't-
a
we don't
conversation
need to stir
of
the pot,
them contacting us and not the park reaching
That would
out,
be nice.
that would just
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
common courtesy.
It wouldn't be hard to send an email
Text,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
not gonna have enough teams.
yeah. And they're doing fine with that. I'm just saying, it's, you get some people that look at it as on the front, on the, first page, and they go, well, why aren't they doing this? And they don't go the other couple pages down in and
Mhm.
find out that there's a little bit more behind it than that, so. Okay, great, thank you for that. Already did the update on the skate park, and yes, there's signs, Roger, that state it's open from 7 to 11, that's what all of our parks are open till.
The lighting, by the way, at nighttime is fantastic there.
Yep.
It's not
No.
overbearing, but it's plenty good that you can see it go around it.
Do you-
So it's really nice.
You mentioned helmets a while ago. I mean, aren't they required to wear helmets on that? I mean, I don't know that much about that sport. All I
And
know
there's-
is I would feel
Yes.
really
Certainly.
bad
So
if
it-
some.
like
And the
on-
safe, yeah.
On the mountain bike trail, there's a sign there and it says, helmets are suggested because it's deemed almost, it's not really an extreme sport, but likely to get hurt pretty good on the woods, right, hit a tree, in gloves, but it's all suggested. And I think that has to be that way at the skate park also.
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
once you start to make it required,
Just let
now
it
someone
go
has
on
to
the
police
risk.
that.
Might get your own
And now
risk.
it's a,
well, and it is too, that we can suggest, because it comes down to a policing issue, how you enforce it. And,
if it was fenced in like Lawton Park, that might be a little different. right?
Well,
Where you
then
could have an
we've
entry
got-
fee and.
yeah, we've got other problems that come with fencing it in.
Yeah, exactly.
We found that out down at
Yeah.
at the main park on the old skate
Yes.
park. To the point of we just left it open
Yeah.
because the kids would come in and jump the
Jump
fence.
the
It was
fence.
supposed to be closed from this date to this date.
Yeah.
And you know, the police officers would come down and ask them to get out, and it was an ongoing thing. So, you know, instead of having the police officers pulling a kid out of the skate park because he's not supposed to be in there, we thought it was a little bit more important for them to be out
And
arresting someone.
we do have surveillance cameras, right?
We will, they're not up yet.
Okay.
Oh,
That'll
okay.
help.
We will have surveillance?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, cameras will be up.
That was the other question.
Well,
Yes.
where will those be monitored at? In the dispatch or somewhere?
Well, the way it works is the city's on their own network. So I can monitor them from here, dispatch can monitor them, the mayor can even pull
I
them
only
up.
ask because if someone's out there, say, you know, I go out there at 8:30 tonight, I'm the only one out there, I'm skating
Yeah.
along and all of a sudden I do something crazy and fall in the bowl and they're knocked out. You know, will someone know that, will someone, you know, will
Probably
the-
Probably.
not.
Yeah, yeah,
And, I mean, unless they actually saw it happen, probably not.
okay.
I mean, I know the police officers do like a run, but again, if you're in the bottom of the bowl, they're
It'd be hard to see. So maybe it would be good if you have, do you have any signage up there yet about like the helmet suggestions or anything like that? Maybe it'd be good to add, don't, you know, come with a buddy, or come with, don't do this by yourself, because you could get hurt. You know, I've seen it out in the woods, I've been out in the woods and there's someone wiped down on the mountain bike trail, and they were the only one out there, and had I not come along,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they weren't seriously hurt,
And-
but
Like the scenario
we just
here.
don't, I don't wanna see somebody laying there for
Well,
a broken leg, you know, that'd be bad.
That's my concern is that, I'm not against that sport at all, but it does have a high risk
Sure.
factor.
Mhm.
And if we don't have something on site that they can read and understand, then I think we're kind of being.
They do.
neglectful.
There is 2 signs.
Yeah, are they good ones? I mean, I'd like to see bigger ones, but
Yeah.
hey, that's just me, you know?
Thing is though, that kids who are gonna go there by themselves, they're gonna walk right past the sign
Oh,
that
they
says,
will.
"Skate with a
And,
buddy."
you
They're
know,
not gonna-
stating that
Yeah,
nobody
you're
would
right,
know
you're
that they're
right.
fallen is probably premature because, I'm
But a
not,
parent would read it.
Yeah.
I'm not as sure where the cameras will be placed.
Mhm.
And they may place a camera right at the bowl
At
for
each
that,
end or something.
for that purpose.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's definitely a plan in place, and they will be, monitored by dispatch, especially with the lights being on as well as they are.
Because it's a new minute.
You'll see it fast.
What spots are hidden from plain sight?
Yeah.
What's
yeah.
that?
What spots are hidden from plain
Yeah.
sight?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a great facility.
so-
I hate to see somebody, you know, really get hurt and then.
That concrete's not gonna give.
No, I mean, that's a chance to take that sport. It's just how it is. Just
So
like
we're-
motocross racing, you know?
Yeah, right,
It's
exactly.
a chance to take.
So that'll be built into the, building that's over there. So they got all the fiber ran over to the building, now the building just has to put in the equipment to run the cameras. So, it's close, it's close. JFL starts in July, I think. Yeah, well, flag football starts July 12th, for the Y.
Flying by.
Also, 4th of July
Mm-hmm.
will be on the 3rd this year, like it always is. We have all
Thursday.
gone,
That's on Thursday.
yep, on Thursday. We have All Gone Blue again as the band to sing. We have a bigger fireworks show this year because that was raised more. So that'll be pretty exciting. It's about double the amount.
Wow.
So
So does that change the time duration of?
yes,
So it'll go from 20 to maybe 30 or 20 to 25 or something?
well, normally it's about 15 minutes.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. Now I would probably say it'd be 20 minutes. I mean, they can light it all off It all depends on how.
30 seconds if you want.
Yeah, they can just make it go in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Or they can make it go 40 minutes, but.
I didn't know if there was, you know, this dollar amount gives you this much time of launches and so
Most-
much between each launch or.
Most fireworks, pyrotechnic guys, they like to keep it steady.
Mm-hmm.
They like to keep it steady, and those that are boom, and then
Yeah.
you wait there, and you're like, oh gosh,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah,
forever.
always have something in the air.
Yeah, if there's always something popping, then they're gonna be good, and I would expect that the show may be 5 minutes longer, but not much longer than what we already have, but it'll be very
Are
active.
we still using, is it Cantor?
Yes, Cantor. We have, after this year, I think we have 2 more years on that contract. You guys signed that.
I thought it was a 3-year contract.
Yeah, well, they had us sign with a year left on their other contract, so.
Right.
So last year was the first year. Is that how it went? No. This year is the first year of their 3-year contract.
And we signed it 2 years ago.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So, so that's how that's broken
I'm
down.
anxious to see if I can see him from where my new outfit is. I don't know.
Might be able to see some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to think if there's anything else. We're getting vendors set up for that now. Do you guys have any questions about the 4th? We're gonna have bouncy houses again. We're having splash pad that'll be going off on, at that time. We have, big eye fish.
Oh, yeah.
That's
The
coming in.
trailer now?
Oh, no, my fault. It's what the fish.
Oh, yeah, what the
They're
fish?
both
Yeah,
good.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're good too.
Yeah.
They're both good.
What the fish?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it's called.
Yeah.
I
They have
believe
some really good names for
First
some-
Fridays?
Yeah,
Yeah,
or Union 12.
Yeah,
has-
Union
Yeah,
12.
Union 12 has
Yeah.
what the fish a lot,
Yeah.
and big eye fish. Yeah.
With the fireworks and now we can have golf carts coming down from Kroger area.
The firemen are stationed back there.
Will they be able to route golf carts through down that lane and across that bridge so they can come into the park from that direction?
Well, they only do that for a certain time period.
Yeah, once the fireworks start. or-
Yeah, before they
or
start
long
lighting
before,
them
yeah,
off.
right. So will there be also like a designated golf cart parking area set up? Or do they just,
No,
Okay.
it's just
Okay.
kind of wherever.
I'm just curious about that.
Yeah, it's just kind of wherever.
Where
There's
people park.
distances that things have to be
I just don't
away
wanna
from.
see, it's an empty parking space and someone slams into it and slams into someone's golf cart.
Yeah, but the only parking we really have that's where they're supposed to be parking is the main parking lot, and that shrinks every year because we get more vendors. Even in the back, you'll see back by the pond, there's those parking spots back there.
Mhm.
A lot of times people can't park there because of the footage that we need from
Oh, yeah,
vehicles
yeah,
or.
yeah, yeah.
So, a lot of times they're kept on the other side of the river
Mhm.
there to kind of help out with that. There was something else I was going to bring up.
So bigger, longer show, getting the vendors in.
Yep.
It's usually,
I think that's it for the 4th of July stuff. Darn it, I hate when I do that. It's one thing I didn't write down and it just kind of clicked into my mind when I was going through.
it's a sign of old age.
Yes, it is. Yeah. It's also a sign of falling out of the tree and
What'd you
having
say?
your brain scrambled.
You say what?
Huh?
Yeah, so I think that's about all that we had for tonight. Yeah, I mentioned JFL starts in July, getting it around. And we're gonna have some other projects come up.
Pickleball court resurfacing, did that go well?
Yes.
That's all done? I know it's all.
I came by there Saturday morning And it was just packed.
Mhm.
I just didn't realize that.
They had a tournament this weekend
Oh,
for
that
old,
was-
old settlers.
I was gonna say, did anybody go to the parade? There's
I
a-
didn't.
There's a group that passed out those flyers of, what they call it, just a fun tournament, fun
Oh, I
pickleball.
missed that, yeah.
But they were passing out flyers, so,
Yeah, they were quite crowded.
Yeah. We've already had several days, obviously with this heat, we've already had several days of the pool being at capacity. So,
but it was full today.
yeah, there was quite a line. It was already 350 and I think it was 130. So, yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that you guys should be aware of. I don't think so. You guys got any questions of me or? Okay. Well,
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second? All in favor? Aye.
Okay.
Okay.